Welcome everybody back. And we are the real Marks of Long Island. For those of you that don't know, I am Ty, side by side with Justin and Court. And today's episode, we're going to do something new. We're trying out a new format, so bear with us. We might have some bumps, possibly. So there's that. But I do want to start off with, because something cool, as you know, we're with PW Nexus, and they are. Justin, I'm gonna throw it to you because you know all the taglines.
Yeah. So when I first reached out to them, I said they're the wrestling community that's taking over by storm. It is just a rocket ship to the moon with these guys, and they're getting into the entertainment side of wrestling. They're getting into the insider scoops of everything, and breaking within the past 10 minutes, Corey Hayes of PWN has reported that the Lucha Bros have officially or are about to sign with WWE. It is a multi-year deal, straight to the main roster. No pit stop at NXT for these guys. The merchandise is being made. The masks are being made. Everything's being made. Lucha Bros in WWE. They, just announced also that pretty much the Motor City Machine Guns are going to be imminent with NXT probably within the next 3 weeks. My God, WWE is riling up their tag team division in a good way, because this is awesome. So shout out to Corey for the breaking news. Guys, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, the Lucha Bros were one of the main staples to why I would tune into AEW Dynamite in the beginning. Some of the matches they had with the Elite and that program they had with them was insane. I forget, it was like they were in a steel cage. I think it was a steel cage match. I think there was like weapons in there too, but that match was, I forget what year it was, but it was incredible. When I watched that match, I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of these guys. Like their title reign was fun. I think they're going to bring a lot to the WWE tag team division. I think the WWE tag division needs help big time. I feel like we've been lacking a little bit. I think we've had, the Judgment Day's got the Raw World Tag Team Champions. But I feel like they have no competition. And same thing with SmackDown. You have A-Town Down Under, who aren't doing much. They're kind of feuding a little bit. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton aren't really, to me, like, let them be their own entities. And the other tag teams, like Pretty Deadly, like they're just side characters for Nia Jax. And I think this boost in the tag team division really shows the focus of what they want to do and where it can go. And it's super exciting.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just said. I mean, the tag team division in WWE is very stale. It's very, you have a certain tag team on top, and that's about it. There's no competition. They're throwing people together like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. The Lucha Bros are a huge get. Motor City Machine Guns also, even if they go to NXT, don't care. They're going to blow the roof off the place. I think the Lucha Bros will, like you said, they're already doing merchandise, they're doing masks. That's going to get over so fast, so quick. People that don't know them are going to love that style, especially the WWE audience that may not watch them in AEW. It's a win for WWE. It's a win for tag team wrestling in the WWE, and I can't wait to see it. Excited.
Yeah, I mean, the Lucha Bros, like Ty, you said, like they have the staple. Like one of the reasons why I loved watching, AEW. One of the reasons why I got into AEW was, those tag team matches when AEW was at its peak. The tag team division was on fire. So I can't wait to see Lucha Bros mix it up in the ring with all these different tag teams that the WWE has. I just hope that they don't throw them right in with the LWO. I kind of hope, I don't want to see that. I hope they don't. I hope, some way, somehow, it's just a straight impact that they make, and, it takes off. It goes crazy. Another thing I wanted to mention that the guys over at PWN have been breaking is they're looking to create a mid-card singles title for the women. So it's not set in stone yet, but that is the way it's looking like it's going to go. And that is the perfect move for that, for the women's division, because like we've said, the women's division is just growing and growing and growing, and there's not enough room on the card for all the talent.
Yeah, I kind of want to, before we continue with that, I want to circle back a tiny bit
Sure.
to the last topic with AEW, and we got the Lucha Bros moving over, and to me, we're seeing a lot now with WWE now bringing over these stars from AEW, and we're seeing it more. It's going to be interesting now because we have Ethan Page, NXT champion. We have Cody friggin' Rhodes, WWE champion, and they got Jade Cargill, one half of the women's tag team champions. Are we going to see just an influx of these former AEW wrestlers headlining for WWE soon? Like, it's crazy to see this transition happening because the excitement's there. I think people know. I know the WWE audience kind of knows and hears about these characters and these superstars across the way at AEW, but the excitement gets real and people get amped up, and then these people deliver. They're delivering all fronts. Like I just mentioned, 3 of the main AEW gets are champions right now in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like you think back to when AEW first originated, right? You have all these guys, except a handful. You have your Cody, you have your Young Bucks, you have a lot of these guys that made their names over in New Japan, Ring of Honor, that signed up to create this company, and then they brought in all these other independent wrestlers, ROH wrestlers that not a lot of the WWE eyes would have ever known. And in the beginning, you have it's the WWE guys or guys and girls that are jumping over to AEW when their contracts are running out. But now it's time for those AEW contracts to run out. And now that the eyes and the publicity have been on them, people know who they are. Their dream, I can guarantee, before AEW was even a thing, was to be in a WWE ring. And now that the opportunity is there, they're taking the opportunity and they're just running with it.
Yeah, I mean, no one, there was no AEW until 5-6 years ago, whatever it was. I don't even remember the year now. But WWE has always been these people's top of the mountain. That has to be where you want to go. That's where you want to bring your career. That's when it's where the most eyes are on you. No matter what Tony Khan will sell you and whatever kind of money he can throw at you, there's still going to be people that are wrestling fans that will only watch WWE. They still won't even get eyes on AEW. So it's happening. The mass movement, I feel like, is underway.
And do we think MJF made the right move? Did he make the right move in the bidding war of 2024?
I mean, he got the tattoo and everything, man. He literally went all in, like, no pun intended. Like, I don't know. And the fact that he really doesn't have this build up to, Grand Slam is at Arthur Ashe next weekend, next week. We were discussing that earlier. And where is he on the card? It's kind of like he's faltering because he just had something with Daniel Garcia. And guess what? Daniel Garcia might be jumping over to WWE too. So, I mean, I don't know. Did he make the right decision?
He got the bag. He got the bag. So, I mean, maybe that was his decision. So we'll have to see.
Hopefully he got enough bag to erase that tattoo if he ever jumps over to WWE.
He'll know how to cover that up. I'm sure he already has an idea on how to cover that one up. He's a smart guy.
You're right. All right, so let's circle back to what you said. Mid-card championship for the woman in WWE. Would you reflect it off of what the men have? Would you have an Intercontinental Women's Championship, a United States Women's Championship? Because I feel like you would need it for both brands. I don't think you can do the tag team title thing that they're doing with the women where it can bounce between brands, because again, like we've mentioned, and like you mentioned before, Justin, there is a lot of talent on these rosters. So I don't think there's enough room just for one mid-card title for the women. I think you need one for each brand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would. So the thing with AEW for me is the titles. There's way too many names for them. I get confused. So, you have the TNT, which is the men's title. Then you have the TBS, which is the women's, which makes sense. That's the television, the TV channels that they're on, makes sense. For WWE, I'm not going to call it the Fox, now it's not Fox, but I'm not going to call it the Netflix championship. So, I mean, I'm okay with it because WWE is WWE. I'm okay with a men's Intercontinental Championship and a women's. I'm totally cool with that. A women's United States champion. I mean, it goes. It totally goes. It flows. I'm absolutely cool with that.
Yeah, I think that's the move too, is to have WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, WWE Women's United States Champion. And I think I saw it today, and I could be wrong, and you guys can correct me, but apparently SmackDown and Raw, when Raw moves to Netflix, everything's going 3 hours. Then SmackDown's going to move to 3 hours.
I was confused because I was trying to read some things, but I don't know. Because then I read Raw was going to be 2 hours still, but I mean, and then SmackDown was going to 3. I read a lot of different things, so I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, what I read, I'm not sure about Raw on Netflix, but what I can confirm with what I've read is when Raw goes to Netflix, SmackDown is going to go to 3 hours on USA.
Yeah,
so
I heard.
I don't know how long Raw will be on Netflix, but once that change happens in January, then SmackDown's going to go to 3 hours.
Yeah, and I heard that because Netflix isn't going to be commercials for subscribers, that it's a full 2 hours. It's not, 30 minutes or 25 minutes of ad time or whatever it is between the 2 hours that it would be. So you are getting more compacted. I think they'll probably have more segments in between for people who would watch with commercials on like Sky Sports or whatever, where that's not Sky Sports, it's something else now. But wherever else it's being aired, I think they're going to have segments that they matter, but to the viewers that have to watch traditionally, I don't think it's going to really impact their viewership. And
yeah, because I'm saying if they're both going to be 3 hours, even if Raw's compacted into 2 with no ads, then you have plenty of space for the mid-card women's title on both shows. Even if Raw is 2 hours, you still have more wrestling time because you're not getting like you said, there are going to be segments that likely won't air to the non-paid subscribers, but I think it still gives that extra little space where you can put a women's match or a title match or a segment, anything. So I'm happy. I'm glad the women are going to get a mid-card title. It's hard when there's just one title and the division is so big.
I mean, how do you guys personally feel about the 3 hour shows? Like, I don't think we've ever discussed this. Like, do you prefer a 2 hour show like SmackDown or now Raw, or did you enjoy the 3 hour Raws because they were able to produce so much more and you got, some other superstars got a little bit more limelight than they usually would on a 2 hour show?
Yeah, I think I kind of like the 3 hours. It's a lot. Trust me, it is a lot. But when you can consume it in ways, if you miss it and you can go on TikTok or Twitter or wherever you want to have little clips, you can watch and watch people's reactions. There's people over TikTok that have their reactions while they're watching matches and segments. It helps. And to me, to be able to fill that gap in those 3 hours, it really does wonders for how big the roster really is and for the talent they have. So I feel like in this age, in this time, I think it needs to be 3 hours. I think if you do 2, because to me, like SmackDown at this moment feels so rushed sometimes. They're trying to get everything in. There's always someone missing or a key person missing each week because they have to get cut for something else to happen. And I think that 3 hours, that extra hour really helps bridge that and gives them some extra leniency towards what they want to do story-wise.
Yeah. I mean, when Raw first went to 3 hours, it was, we were not younger, teenagers, I guess. We were like stoked. Then it kind of hit a lull for me where I was like, I can't sit here from 8 to 11 on Monday night. Like, I can't do it. But now, like Ty said, with social media, it's easier. Like, if I catch hour 8 to 9:30 of Raw, say something distracts me and I miss the end, I can go on social media, catch myself up, and there's more content there to enjoy. So I like the 3 hour thing. I'm back on board with it. If you asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have said no, but I'm back with it now.
Yeah, I think that the extra, like, I guess, fourth wall of it with it being social media, and especially like TikTok. TikTok is huge with wrestling creators and re-showing clips because there's always that replayed content on TikTok that happens that stays up. I don't know how, they do it. But to me, I could be like gaming, have Raw on my phone. If I miss something, and go back and see what someone's reaction was or find a clip of what happened. And I really don't have to like fully focus all the time. But then when something catches my attention, I'm like zoned in. So like I can have it casually going while I do other things and know that it's not lost in the abyss. Like I don't have to go back in my DVR like back in the day and rewind and miss it. There's not a way to not watch it, because if back in the day too, was only watching everything on WWE's YouTube, and that was the only way. And half the time they'd even put everything on it. So it was like, what did I miss? But we're in an age where you're really not missing much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I enjoyed the 3 hours just because it's a Monday night, and usually back in the day it was a school night. So what the heck else am I watching besides playing video games? But now I have bowling on Monday nights, so it's tough. I always tell you guys, I got to watch afterwards. I gotta DVR my way through, and by that time it's midnight. When I'm done, I'm tired. I got work in the morning, so I'm ready for the 2 hours for now. But then once we get back to 3 hours for SmackDown, I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah, and now we have one more breaking news story, and that's the Saturday night main event coming back December 14th to prime time. And it's in where? Nassau Coliseum, baby. Let's go. I'm excited. Maybe we'll go. Who knows? I mean, I think you said, Justin, you were looking at tickets and the fees were insane.
Yeah. So if we wanted to, with the pre-sale codes, you have some decent seats for like $150, but then you are buying another ticket with the fees that Ticketmaster just throws on top of you for absolutely no reason. So I don't know. We have time. It's December 14th, so we have time to think about it. I would love to go. Obviously, it's right before Christmas, right before the holidays. So we could do something. We could maybe interview some fans there, make some content out of it. That's what I'm even thinking about doing for Grand Slam next Wednesday. But what interests me, I just wanted to bring this up. If you look at the poster, the main graphic, you obviously have Cody in the middle without his title, may I add, just throwing that at court for, just to throw that out there. You have Roman, you have Bianca, you have Liv, and then you have Seth Rollins, where Seth has been gone for a while. So I'm assuming hopefully he'll be back by then. But this seems to me like, is it going to be a PLE? I mean, I know it's going to be on NBC, so it's not really a PLE, but are they going to treat this like a PLE where we're just going to get Raw and SmackDown? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, I'm wondering too, like, is this a one-off, or is this going to be like a monthly or a, every 3 months, every 6 months? Are they going to throw it in? Is it going to be random? I mean, I definitely want to go. It's right here. It'd be a shame not to. The last Saturday Night Main event, I pulled this up on Twitter, was 16 years ago in 2008.
It's crazy.
And it featured Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, JBL, Kane teaming up against John Cena, Batista, Crime Time, and Punk as the special guest commentator. It was also a match between Edge and Jeff Hardy. That's not the whole card, obviously, but that is a wild list. I mean,
and you know what really irks me about the poster? I can't get over it. They have the two SmackDown superstars with a red border, and they have the two Raw superstars with a blue border. Who decided that? Who decided that? That makes no, like, come on. It's that easy. Like, hire me. I'll make the graphic. I'll make it proper. Like, how did they get past legal, the company, directors? Like, who didn't look at that and said, wow, the SmackDown superstars in a red border, the Raw are in a blue border. We should probably switch that up to make it make more sense. But I digress. But I do want to point out what Justin said, because I thought the same thing. Cody has no championship around his waist, and Roman has got the Ulafala around his neck. Is that foreshadowing, Court?
You just said how bad the poster was and how they messed up the fact that Raw and SmackDown were opposite. Come on. Somebody who doesn't even watch the show was like, they just said, oh, put these 5 superstars on it. They grabbed an old render of Cody. They grabbed an old render of Roman. I don't even know what Seth is wearing. I mean, it's one of his suit jackets, but it's old. Like, you can tell. Like, come on, man, step it up. Step it up. No, it has nothing to do with Cody losing the title before December 14th or whatever it is. Don't even go there.
We're getting a little hint towards a little future part of this podcast right there. I'm going to leave it at that. But I do want to transition into, we are trying, like I said earlier, we are trying to change things up. We're going to break things up sometimes with some segments, and we're going to a segment which we're not making money off this, but PW Nexus are boys. They don't know this, but I'm just going to say it. They're going to sponsor our little segment that is the Bump of the Week. Court, Justin, and myself are going to choose a Bump of the Week. It can be in wrestling. It can be in the world. It could be in the NFL. It could be in football, NHL. It could be literally anything. But we're going to post this on social media, have y'all vote. We'll give you the winner next week, and then we'll come up with 3 new ones for the next segment. So, Justin, what is your Bump of the Week?
I mean, it happened on Raw, and it was hilarious. It was in the match of the meatheads. It was the match of the meat. It was Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, and you have Braun Strowman running, and the camera had it perfect because that's all you saw was just Braun picking up speed, and then out of nowhere you just see a dude in a blue Yeet shirt get full. You actually didn't even see the Yeet yet. You just saw a body get thrown at Braun Strowman, and Bronson Reed picked up a fan and chucked him at Braun Strowman. So, I mean, props to the guy in the Yeet shirt. He got yeeted. That's the Bump of the Week.
Bro, I thought Jey Uso came out and interfered in the match. I thought he just wanted to throw hands with someone. I don't even know. I think he was ready to train himself to go against Braun Breaker over there. All right, Court, what is your Bump of the Week?
To everyone's surprise, my bump features the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. He had a steel cage match with Solo Sikoa for the title on Friday Night SmackDown's debut on USA. Cody did a massive crossbody off of the cage, nailed Solo. There was a bunch of good bumps in that match. Obviously, a bunch were on Cody and through Cody, so I'm going to choose the one that he did. That's my Bump of the Week.
Yeah, and I thought the Cody Cutter was pretty damn cool off the steel cage. I thought that was sweet, but I have to pick my Bump of the Week to follow Justin with the Monster Mash. What'd you call it? The meat?
The meat. I don't even know.
Meathead.
It was Meathead Mania. I don't know.
Meathead Mania. I like Mash of the Meats. I feel like WWE should coin that, Mash of the Meats. But that was it wasn't even a match because it didn't even start. Because when it started, Braun Strowman dodged Bronson Reed and he ripped the top turnbuckle off. So it didn't even start, which I'll get into a second. But my Bump of the Week is Braun Strowman's crossbody on Bronson Reed through the barricade, the ring barricade. I thought that was awesome. It was sweet, to the point, 2 big men mesh and meet through a barricade. Perfection.
The meat mash mania.
Right? But before we end the segment, I do want to talk real quick about what transpired with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, because you all heard me say it in the past. I thought that this era was not a place for Braun Strowman, but this is making me eat my words. I don't know how about you guys feel, but watching what's going on, and especially all the mayhem that occurred on Monday night, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm glad they made me eat my words. And it's just entertaining to see 2 colossuses. Sorry. Go head to head. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, but we did speak that like this is what needed to come of Braun Strowman, because you had him on the team with Ricochet back in the day, because I think he actually said something like out of like just in an interview saying like he does the flippies or the flippy flops or whatever, and then they ended up teaming together. You just need Braun Strowman and other big dudes just to go at it, like just throw their meat, just throw it everywhere, just Otis, like get Otis in there, I wish Big E was still around because get Big E in there. I don't know. Just get all the meaty men and just throw them in a meat Royal Rumble.
Do we have the Meat Mashing Championship as the title?
I mean, maybe.
Oh my God.
Maybe,
My cousin.
and then give like a 24-ounce steak to the winner. I don't know. Just throw it on there.
I can't wait to send this clip to my cousin Andrew, who loves meat. Yeah, I mean that match, if you want to call it the Meat Mania, whatever the heck we're calling it, it was awesome, and it was exactly what you guys said. It was what needed to be done for Strowman. It's what's working right now. I'm all for it. It was hilarious. It was great. It was, it was perfect. It was two big guys just mashing their meat. That's all we got for it.
That's all we got. So that concludes our segment for Bump of the Week. Make sure to check out our socials and vote so we can pick what is actually the Bump of the Week. Now, I want to go into which, Justin, you brought this up prior. This is the topic you wanted to hit home with. We have AEW Dynamite. We're going to go into it a little bit, but there's a specific topic you wanted to hit tonight. What is that topic?
Yeah, so you have, you just had a huge blood feud with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. It was gnarly. We mentioned how it turned me off because of the shit that they use, the syringes and all that. And, now obviously Swerve's off TV for a little bit. I would, he has to nurse the injuries. You can't just put him right back out there. But you had Hangman come out, and it seems like they're starting a feud with, after riding this momentum, right? He just technically won the feud. He won the steel cage match. Now they have Jeff Jarrett going after him. They have 55-year-old Jeff Jarrett. Now, I listen, I mentioned that I listen to Busted Open Radio a lot. Uncle Bully likes this. He actually says that Jarrett is respected in the locker room. He's a worker. Obviously, he's a legend. He is. He's been around since forever, with TNA, WWE, everything. But for me, it's just I don't understand this move. Like, I get that he's a respectable veteran in the locker room. But to go from such a blood feud with Swerve now into this match or whatever it's going to be with Jeff Jarrett, I just see this as a downgrade for Hangman. And I hope Jeff Jarrett proves me wrong, but in the beginning, when he first arrived in AEW, people didn't want to see Jeff Jarrett. Why would they want, Jeff Jarrett is, he's Jeff Jarrett. He's a little bit older. So I don't know. I disagree with the way that they're going about this, having Jeff Jarrett be the next target, I guess, for Hangman Adam Page. But hey, I hope I eat crow.
I guess there's only room for one cowboy on AEW, so I guess that's why it's got to happen. We gotta find out who can stay and who can go.
I guess. Well,
yeah, it's strange. It really is. It's strange. I mean, I saw someone on Twitter being like, "What are they fighting over? Like Social Security? Like, like for real? Like, it's make it make sense." I don't think Justin, you nailed it. You nailed it for me. There's really nothing I got to add there. Just make it make sense. I
do have to add a little bit because for me, I think at that point you have to have Hangman challenge Bryan Danielson for the title. You have the former champion taking the loss out of the huge blood feud, as you said, Justin. And now it's Jeff Jarrett. Like, he's like legend. Props to him. Props to what he's done for wrestling. But for someone who has just literally like used every weapon that should be illegal within professional wrestling against each other, you can't get better than that with Jeff Jarrett. Maybe they prove me wrong. Maybe Jarrett's got that dog in him that can hang with Hangman Adam Page and they put on a classic, but he's just, once you get to a certain age with wrestling, granted, we've talked about Ric Flair in the past, what he did at Taboo Tuesday when we did our Into the Vault, and Ric Flair at his age was still making it happen. But I don't know, man. I don't see it with Jarrett, but he could prove me wrong. He can definitely prove me wrong. But it just, to me, I think it would have been awesome to have Danielson, Hangman, world title match, build it up a little bit, see what happens.
Yeah, and then it's also to the point, like Hangman and Swerve were both heels. It was literally just picking which heel you liked more. And now you have Hangman, who's still a heel, and now you're, I from what I know, people don't really enjoy watching Jeff Jarrett. Now are like before, like, is Tony Khan trying to like force them to cheer? Like it's going to be clearly people are going to cheer for Hangman, I believe. So now everyone's going to be cheering for the heel in this situation. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And as you mentioned off the podcast when we were talking beforehand, because we love bullshit about wrestling, even before we start talking about wrestling for the podcast, we have a lineup for Ricochet and Will Ospreay now. There was like, they were doing a nice little tease, and now it's just like, nope, here you go, just take it now. And it's funny because I was watching, I forget who, Stephen Amell, my boy, Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow. He was on the podcast. He was talking about how Triple H said, slow things down. If it feels too slow, slow it down even more. And if still too slow, it feels that way, slow it down even more. And that is what AEW needs to do sometimes. Let things simmer. Let it build. Let it fester a little bit. And then build a program from it. Don't just throw the match at people. And I get they're the company of the really good wrestling matches. But to keep eyes on the broadcast, you need drama, you need story, you need people, tuning in to finally see it happen. And just to throw it like that, I don't know, man. I know it's going to be a hell of a wrestling match. No question about it. But you need that pull, that sway, that let me ring these people in a little bit, because it works. It happened with Stephen Amell. He said when he was doing his match at, I forget what was, All In or something, whenever it was, or with Christopher Daniels, he felt like he rushed things and it wasn't, and he wished he would have listened to the Triple H way and slowed it down a little before he jumped and cross-bodied him through the table and stuff. It's just, there are things that Triple H and WWE know, and they have people there that know the recipe, and they need to really start using it.
Yeah, I think that's something I've been harping on with AEW for a while now. Even when Cody was there, was the build up and the story part of wrestling. They have phenomenal wrestlers there. They have matchups for days. They could close their eyes and pick two guys, and they're going to have a banger. That's not out of the question for pretty much their entire roster. But you need to have, as much as we love professional wrestling, a lot of it is also the story. Who cares if these two guys put on a masterpiece? Why are they doing it? Besides just throwing them in there. Besides they're really good. Let's see who's better. Which, yeah, that can be a story, but make that the story. Like, you're not giving anything as like a backdrop, as like, okay, this is why this is going to happen. It's just, okay, these guys are good. Let's just give it to them, instead of building it for a month where people are really drooling and salivating. Wow, I can't wait for this. I'm dying to see this. Like, I'm going to buy the pay-per-view, because AEW pay-per-views are still like $65 compared to WWE, where you can get them on Peacock for, I believe, as low as $5. So, you really got to think about that when you're trying to get someone to buy something for that much money in this day and age. So,
and so like you just said, with, you had 4 other matches with Will Ospreay and Ricochet, which have, if you go back and just watch the highlights, you're going to be starstruck. I mean, in 2 weeks, that match is going to tear the house down. But how many people are going to be in said house? The whole hard cam side most likely going to be empty with the way things have been going for him. So why not, like you said, build that match up? Let them actually, like, instead of that one little interaction, let them build it up for a few weeks. Let them hype it up. Let them get people interested in this match, because now it's just going to be given, like Court, you just said, like, AEW pay-per-views are still $65. Like, let people buy into that pay-per-view with that match. Now, I mean, good for us. Like, we're going to get to see it for free. Great. Fantastic. I don't know how the ratings are going to do, but even saying it in that way, the perfect example is next week, Grand Slam, Arthur Ashe. You have Bryan Danielson, if he's cleared, and I have that in quotations because he's going to be cleared, versus Nigel McGuinness. That was like Dave LaGreca on Busted Open freaked out because Tony Khan owns ROH's library. Show some damn footage of why these two were the best rivalry in ROH. And they finally did a little bit with the, they had some technical difficulties going into it, but they did finally show a little promo of Nigel McGuinness and, the history of it. But you needed more. Like, this is so forced. This is so pushed. This is so, you don't even have Bryan Danielson out there to even build it up. Like, neither of them were on TV last night except for the promo. And now no one watches Rampage. No one watches Collision. So you can't hype it up there. So now we're just going into next Wednesday and we have hopefully a title match at Arthur Ashe Stadium between the best rivalry that ROH has ever seen, but no one understands why. Yeah.
And I will give them props here and there, AEW. There are moments where they do draw things out. Like this but this rivalry between Swerve and Hangman, that's been beautiful. Anything that MJF touches is really, I think he's really got his hands in it. I think that's why he knows what to do and helps build these things out for his rivalries and his programs. But if you watch, like with SmackDown, people already want Roman and Cody to clash, but they're just going to pull the strings so slowly. Now we're getting them in a tag team match together, and it's just going to be drugged so slowly until it finally happens. And when it happens, everyone's going to be watching it because they're just they're just salivating. They want it. We all want it. And we want to see match 3. We want to see the rubber match between these two. And they could just give it to us. And then it's like, oh, it's there and it's done already. But the way you have to go about it, make people want it, make people wait, make people tune in and be like, what are they going to do next? When are they going to announce it? What's going to happen? It gets frustrating sometimes. We always announce our frustrations with AEW over here, but like, there are so many things that they can do, and the potential for that show and for that company is sky high. It's just a shame that they're not tapping really into it that much.
You said it. There's nothing else to say. And then the best match of the night there last night, you have the Elite versus Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita. That is the Jacksons. That is Okada. That is, Will Ospreay on the same match. Like, they have the talent. They have, like they say, the best talent. They truly do. They 1000% do. Tony Khan paid for it. Just, we need some more build up. Give us something to enjoy, to tease us, to finally, make the payoff more manageable for the fans.
Yep. But now we're going to go into another new segment that I coined that I love. It's sponsored by, I guess, me at this point. I'm not putting money into the segment, but we're going into what I called Court's Cody Corner. Say that 5 times fast. You can't. But Court, this is your time. Your minutes to rant and talk about your boy since 2008, the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes.
Beautiful. 2007, by the way. That's okay. I'm just going to talk about, like I spoke on earlier, Friday Night SmackDown, first show on USA Network. You had Cody and Solo in a steel cage. Cody retains. The new Judgment Day. The new Bloodline comes down and tries to surround Cody. They do. They kick him around a little bit, and you have Roman come for the save. All whatever, they're standing in the ring together. They end the segment. Show goes on. We're going to skip the rest of the show because this is Cody's Corner. Court's Cody's Corner. And we're going to get to the main event. Well, the main event segment. Roman's in the ring getting ready to sign the tag title. Not tag. Is it for the titles?
No,
I didn't think so. Oh, yeah, because Solo doesn't even have whatever. Tag team match with Solo and Jacob Fatu. And Roman's about to sign, and he's talking about, well, he's not about to sign. He takes the mic. He's talking about it's his ring. It's his show. He's back. Then you have the one and only American Nightmare come out. I loved this promo by Cody. He comes out. He says, not so fast. This hasn't been your show in a long time now. This is my show, my ring, and my championship. And, everything happens. Solo comes down. Roman signs the contract. Cody signs the contract. They're going to team up to take on Solo and Jacob, and I think it'll be great. I don't understand. This is definitely biased, probably, but I don't know how you can call Roman the biggest babyface in the company compared to Cody. I mean, the guy was just the biggest heel in the company for 3 years. So, of course, when you come back and you're fighting over something like the bloodline that you created, you're going to come off like a babyface. Of course, you're going to come off like a babyface. But Cody has been the babyface since WrestleMania 38. There's just no question about it. And I think I hit everything I want to hit in Cody's corner.
So, but real quick, do you think, because the reactions were insane on SmackDown, I think starting off with the WWE Championship match was so smart. And they were slowly in, the focus of that show was Roman and Cody, of course. And, a little bit with the new bloodline. But Roman got some big pops, man. You still think Cody was the number one cheered person on that show?
I'm not even saying that. You can take it by like a day-by-day basis, but I've seen polls on Twitter and people arguing about who's the bigger babyface in the company, and to me, it's not even a question. It's just Cody. Roman is a top babyface now, yeah, until he's not. We know that he can't pull it as a babyface. We just know. We've seen it. We've seen suckering succotash. I mean, that's all I got to say. But I get it. Like, he came back. He's fighting his cousin, whatever, for the bloodline. I get it. He's going to get that huge reaction. It's like The Rock. Same thing with The Rock. Even when he's heel, he gets cheered. So it's like, but don't tell me that Cody's not the biggest babyface in the company.
So to speak on Roman and not being able to pull the face card before, that was when it was forced down our throats. It was shoved down our throats left and right. Like there was, it was like John Cena and Hulk Hogan all over again. Now this is the natural build to the ultimate face, but I will give you credit, Court. I don't think he's face. I do not think he's a face. He, in his promo, said that nothing has changed. He's still the tribal chief. He's still him. But some things have changed to where his eyes are now not on Cody's gold, but it's on getting his Ulafala back and proving himself that he is not only the original tribal chief, but he is the only tribal chief, which I thought hit hard. That was a sick line by Roman.
So I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate when I was targeting you, Court. But so for me, I think when it's really going to come down to when the story with the new bloodline's over, when Roman's the tribal chief again, without the WWE Championship, does he still pull that reaction? Does he still get the fans behind him? Or is his fire, his electricity over after that? But with that being said, you still have him with The Rock possibly. So he does have some fire, but without that help of The Rock or the storyline, and he's the tribal chief without the title, does he really pull that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at, was the fact that, yes, he's coming back as a face in this moment, in this feud, in this particular era of his career. But exactly, you take that away, he finishes with Solo, he's done, and what next? If you don't have The Rock, then really what next? Because then he has to either sink or swim as a babyface. No Cody, no Rock, no Solo. Does he do that? Is he able to make that happen? We'll just wait and see. But that's why I think, to me, things that bothered me on Twitter this week was just the argument about who's the biggest babyface in the company. And to me, without a blinking, it's Cody. And I really don't think that's being biased.
No, I agree with you, because at the end of the day, the biggest babyface, the one taking the pictures with all the children, being there for the crowd, the fans and everything, defending the championship globally, day in, day out. So I do agree with you. I think at this moment, Cody Rhodes is the main babyface of the company. I think for me, when it comes down to it, does Roman really have it? Is like I said, when there's no Rock, there's no bloodline, he's the tribal chief without the title. That to me is what's going to really define Roman Reigns as a character and his legacy to me. And yeah, he's unstoppable for the last, 3-4 years. But can he really make it without Heyman by himself? No title. And that's what I want to see. Can he keep that fire? Because John Cena polarized WWE day in, day out. Reaction. You can argue that Roman did the same, but when he was supposed to be a face, he was just booed out the arena. So he's gotten good reactions, whether it was good or bad, I guess you can debate. But I think in my scenario, that's really where I'll see if Roman really has it. I guess Court's Cody quarter ended a little early. I did want to give a little this day in WWE history fact for Cody in the Cody corner. Back in 2010, Night of Champions, September 19th, because this is when we were recording, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre won the tag team titles in a tag team turmoil match. Check that out. For the first Court's Cody corner, we got this day in history in there, and he's winning titles with Drew McIntyre.
I can tell you what my Facebook status was 13 years ago if you just give me 10 seconds. Hold on. I think I said, no, I'm being serious. I wrote, screw the Giants. Cody Rhodes is once again a champion. That was exactly what it says. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's there.
I guess the Giants let you down again?
Yeah, what else is new? It's just normal.
We got the Jets tonight. Let's go.
Let's go, Jets.
My boy CJ's, he's out. He's inactive tonight. So that's
just in other sports news, just because this is ridiculous and you guys won't believe me. Today, in this day in history, this is probably going to be going down in history. Shohei Ohtani hit 6 home runs today and had 10 RBIs. 6 home runs in a single game.
It's insane.
Insanity.
That is insane. But I think I'm not sure if you guys want to go more into SmackDown. I think for me, that was great. I'm pumped up from this. I think we had a hell of an episode. I hope you listeners agree, because this was a cool little format we did. We're probably going to stick to this. We'll see how it goes. We're definitely going to keep in the bump of the week, because it's fun, and maybe I'll throw in some football stuff as my bump of the week. Who knows?
I was gonna say Tua Tagovailoa's hit to the head, but I didn't want to go there. So
too soon.
Yeah, too soon for that. That poor kid, man. He's got so much talent, but I think he's got to hang up those boots. You don't want to do that much brain damage to yourself.
But Friday Night SmackDown, first one premiering on USA. I thought it was great. I thought they hit what they needed to hit. I like how they had a bunch of different superstars in the crowd. You had Bobby Roode. You had, so many. You had Vicky Guerrero. You had all these people. I thought it was great. I look forward to next week.
They brought Randy back to SmackDown where he belongs.
Ricky.
Oh, Ricky. We should have talked about Ricky.
That man went friggin' viral too. But yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Let us know if you like our segments, and if you have ideas for segments, give us a shout. Like I said before, make sure to vote on the bump of the week, and we will see you on the next one. Real Marks out.